Today's news episode once again brings you the hottest news from Hollywood. There was a particularly large amount of information this week from DC and its new universe. We also take a look at the upcoming Super Bowl and its possible movie trailers, and show you the first images from the live-action series for One Piece. We also have some exciting news for fans of The Last of Us, and tell you what's in the works for Bad Boys 4 with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Have fun watching. One Piece is without a doubt one of the most successful and best-known manga series of all time. New content has been published on a regular basis for almost 25 years, and the corresponding anime is likewise very popular among fans old and young. So far, there are well over 1,000 episodes of the TV series, and as many as 13 movie adaptations, along with other TV specials, as well as trading cards and video games. So, nobody can ever deny that the fanbase of One Piece is huge. There is one thing that the fan community is still unsure about, however, and that is the planned series on Netflix. It is to be released in a live-action format and thus leave the familiar realm of animated films and series. Since anime is often about over-the-top and comic-like characters and situations, many wonder how this could be brought across with real actors in a convincing way. In order to raise anticipation among fans, 2 images were posted a few days ago. One of them shows the main character Monkey D. Luffy, as well as the announcement that the ship will set sail this year. The other image shows the protagonist and a few of his companions joining him on a search for the mysterious treasure, One Piece. The reactions, at least, are not bad. Many want to get involved with the live-action format, even though the experiences with similar projects from other studios in the past were rather disappointing, like Cowboy Bebop, for example. We're looking forward to more details about the upcoming series. Given the release date this year, we should be able to expect a first teaser soon. We'll be sure to keep you up to date. The current available 3rd episode of the first season of The Last of Us is not only exciting fans of the game series, but also newcomers to the franchise alike. Even those who couldn't get much out of the survival horror genre before have been pleasantly surprised by the HBO series. It was already clear beforehand that the first season would largely cover the plot of the first game by game developer Naughty Dog, and up to now speculations about a second season have been persistent, since there is also a second game with an even more extensive storyline than the original. However, an official confirmation from those responsible was not given by the time Episode 3 was released. This has since changed, as it was officially announced on the series' Twitter account a couple of days ago that the journey of Joel and Ellie will continue. For the time being, fans of the first season have 6 more episodes left before the wait for new episodes begins in mid-March. But the question as to when filming of the new season is scheduled to begin remains unanswered. After all, this will largely determine when we can expect the second season. The current news about the upcoming season is also overshadowed by the unexpected passing of Annie Wersching, who embodied Joel's close friend Tess in the original game. Just 2 days after the announcement of another season, Wersching died of cancer, which was not known to the public, leaving the entire industry in mourning. We assume that Wersching will still be paid tribute to in the course of the season. After all, the 45-year-old was not only able to play her role impressively, but was also very popular with her colleagues. How the story will go on after the end of the last episode is unclear. After all, there are still enough storylines left open between the first and second games, which were released 7 years apart. Some of these were barely or not at all dealt with in The Last of Us Part 2 from 2020. So there is certainly a need for additional stories. Patience is still required until there is absolute clarity regarding the plot of Season 2. For now, we're looking forward to the other episodes in the coming weeks, since the fans' high expectations have been more than met so far. This week, there was particularly extensive news from DC. After much speculation in recent weeks, it is now clear how things will continue after the release of the 4 upcoming films: The Flash, Blue Beetle, Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in 2023. Similar to the MCU, there will be different phases, or rather chapters, in which a certain amount of projects will be released. These chapters have a thematically appropriate title, with the first section being called Gods and Monsters. But which movies and series can we look forward to? Well, James Gunn revealed that in a short video on Twitter. Here are the highlights. One of the new movies that was already apparent beforehand is a new Superman. After the back and forth about the previous actor Henry Cavill, it was made clear some weeks ago that they would start looking for a new, younger actor. The planned film, which will be the first one of the new chapter, is titled Superman Legacy. But according to Gunn, it will not be an origin story. The script is written by Gunn himself, and there is speculation that the DC boss will also be the director. The release date is set for July 11, 2025. One of the most anticipated projects from Chapter 1 is Lanterns. The series is said to have two main characters, Hal Jordan, who was played by Ryan Reynolds in the 2011 film Green Lantern, and Jon Stewart, who is likewise also a Green Lantern. Many fans expressed particular excitement about the way the series will be made, as it is said to be inspired by True Detective. This series belongs to the best modern crime series. Above all, the first season with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson continues to have a large fan base to this day. We can therefore look forward to a dark crime series with at least two members of the Green Lantern Corps. The Brave and the Bold introduces the first DCU Batman. The exact cast is not known yet, but you will be able to see not only the Dark Knight, but also his colleague Robin on the big screen again. In this case, Robin is Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's son, and according to Gunn, his favorite Robin. He is a cunning murderer who will surely cause chaos in a very special father-son relationship. Not only will Superman get his own feature in Chapter 1, but his female counterpart, Supergirl, is also to get a movie. The focus is on the clear difference between her and Superman. While the latter was able to spend a reasonably comfortable life on Earth, Supergirl grew up in the wilds of her home planet until the age of 14 and had to watch nearly all of her friends and family being killed. A significant difference which will most likely also be reflected in the way the film is made. With Swamp Thing, a genuine horror flick is to make its way into the DCU. Following the cancellation of the series a few years ago, the company is now going to produce its own feature film. In keeping with the genre, it will be pretty dark, but in spite of the horror element, it will be equally related to the other films and series. The film is supposed to be the last installment of Chapter 1 and should therefore deal with some storylines that will then be taken up into Chapter 2. It's a bold move to end the first chapter with a horror movie, since the genre has rarely been applied to superhero movies in the past. Besides talking about the many movies and series from Chapter 1 of the new DCU, James Gunn also discussed two movie projects that are very well known beyond the borders of DC and stand entirely for themselves, and therefore are now being referred to under the term Elseworlds, which is quite well known in the comic book world. The first film from the Elseworlds is Joker Folie à Deux. The sequel is an immediate continuation of the popular first part from 2019, and the main actor Joaquin Phoenix is to be joined by Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. The style of the film is said to resemble a musical, and there are plenty of rumors regarding the plot. In one of our originals, we took a closer look at the film, so feel free to check it out if you want to know more about the Joker sequel. The theatrical release is scheduled for October 4th, 2024. The second movie from the Elseworlds is The Batman 2. Although it is a known fact that a new Batman is being sought for the DCU, this one has nothing to do with the already introduced Robert Pattinson as the Dark Knight. In terms of story, the plot of the first part from the year 2022 is continued and accompanies Batman on his journey as a young detective in Gotham City. Also to be released is the Penguin series, which is set in the same universe as the two films and, as the name suggests, revolves around Colin Farrell as the Penguin. As we have known for quite a while, the series will link the two movies in terms of story, and as a result, will also be released before The Batman 2, which is scheduled to hit theaters on October 3rd, 2025. Whether and how it will continue after The Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson and his character is not yet known. Which DC projects are you most looking forward to in the coming years? Let us know in the comments. The biggest American TV event of the year will take place next week, Super Bowl 57. In addition to the sports event and the famous halftime show, the commercials are also a big highlight, as are the trailers for the movie industry. Half a minute of airtime at the Super Bowl costs a whopping $7 million. We can therefore look forward to a number of short but elaborately produced spots. Warner Brothers, which traditionally tends to hold back at the Super Bowl, will be joining in for a change. We can still expect at least one trailer for the upcoming The Flash with Ezra Miller. Moreover, the rumor persists that there will be some sort of sneak preview of the upcoming DC universe. after James Gunn and Peter Safran as heads of the DC studios have announced some movies and series. According to Deadline, Universal is set to present 2 movies, namely Fast and Furious 10 and Cocaine Bear. Especially the announcement of the Fast and Furious trailer should not surprise anyone. After all, the franchise has always been a popular guest at the Super Bowl in the past years. Just before the big event, there will be a Fast X party with Vin Diesel in Los Angeles, a launch party so to speak, where the ad campaign for the 10th film in the series will officially begin. A 15-second spot is planned for Cocaine Bear. A particularly high number of trailers can be expected from Disney. These include trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Little Mermaid. In addition, footage of the Pixar film Elemental is reportedly being planned. Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, and Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels may also get their own previews. However, our source at Deadline did not want to give a final statement on this. Paramount is also likely to dig deep into their pockets to promote their upcoming projects. A minimum of 3 trailers are sure to be released for Scream 6, Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Still unclear are the participants of MGM and Lionsgate, which would have 2 top-class movies in store with Creed 3 and John Wick Chapter 4. However, they are not always represented at the Super Bowl. The same is true for Sony, which last took part in 2017. Will Smith's famous slap to the face was undoubtedly one of the highlights of last year's Academy Awards. Smith's unforeseen outburst due to satirical comments about his wife Jada caused the 54-year-old a lot of ridicule and malice. For a long time, it was unclear whether Smith's career would recover from this incident, as his loss of control in front of running cameras was certainly among the low points of his long acting career. In a joint video, Smith and his film colleague Martin Lawrence have now announced that a 4th part of the Bad Boys film series is officially in the works. In addition to the 2 leading actors, the 2 Bad Boys for Life directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, as well as screenwriter Chris Bremner, are also set to return. With the 3rd installment released almost 25 years after the original, fans can now look forward to the 2nd Bad Boys movie within a few years. Sadly, there is no planned release date yet, but this should change soon given that the production is already in progress. We are definitely looking forward to more news on this project. Now you're up to date again when it comes to Hollywood and the like. Those of you who have already seen the spectacular new Avatar movie in theaters, you may be interested in checking out our latest original about Avatar 3: The Seedbearer, as the next installment is set for release in 2024. Thanks for watching and see you next time.